All right. Ready?
Yes.
Okay, the Health and Safety Committee meeting is called to order. Today is Tuesday, June 28th, 5:32 p.m. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Counselor Smith,
Present.
Counselor Dowdy, Counselor Martin,
Present.
we have a quorum, and we also have in attendance, Counselor Bovia.
Thank you. We're gonna go right to the agenda. We shouldn't, I don't want to be here no more than a half an hour.
Chief Worley,
Chief, no, let's start with, we got police department on the agenda. Let's, McDonald, Larry McDonald here.
yeah, he's supposed to be on his way, and I just
Okay,
talked to him at the window.
all right. So while we wait on him, we'll go to, the fire department, Chief Warden.
Yes.
Warden, how are you this evening?
Okay, how are you doing today, Council?
Okay, what we need from you, Chief Warden, is an update. And we have people, some people in attendance who share what's going on. The public needs to know. Okay.
Okay, well, recently we have the used squad that was approved to be purchased by you from Philadelphia. We actually have it here. It's been lettered and cleaned up for us. So it's actually was put on the street today for the first day.
What is it? What is it again? Warden, say that again, slower, please.
We had a brand new ambulance that was approved by council to be purchased. Well, not a brand new, a used one. We purchased from council. Council approved for us to purchase it from Philadelphia. It was lettered and it was put out on the road today. So it looks good. It was in very great condition. We were very fortunate to get that squad because they're hard to come by, because everybody is behind because of the building of new squads. It's just not happening quickly. So we were fortunate to find a used one, because most places are keeping all their squads, used or not, just because.
Thank you.
We also have the opportunity to possibly bring on about 4 new firefighters within the next couple of weeks. So we're excited about that. We still need many more, but this will help with the manpower of the department, since the guys are being taxed very heavily as far as the workload goes, just because we don't have enough members on the department. So we'll have those 4, like I said, that'll be starting within the next couple of weeks. Other than that, we're pushing along. We're dealing with all the things that we have to deal with to maintain the department and keep the guys' morale up high. And they're doing a great job and working despite the fact of being overworked.
Chief Warden, the legislation we passed a couple of weeks ago to hire people over 35, did that help with these 40 hires?
That definitely helped with getting one of the members on. We have a couple of more that we're reaching back out to see if we can get them to come on with us as well.
All right, I'll open up to my colleagues. Brother Smith, any questions for Chief Warden? Okay, Dr. Patricia Loviak, any questions for Chief Warden?
Equipment and there's discussions about condition of the fire station, what we can do with that.
I really was not unable to make out what you were saying, Ms. Bohoviak.
You can't make out a word you're saying.
Somebody put this table in backwards.
That's how it is,
Well,
unfortunately. Be careful of the wires.
Can you hear it now, Chief Warden?
I hear you very clearly. She sounds very muffled.
that's because the microphone is in the wrong place.
You want to sit right there?
No, I don't want to close it. Where it wants.
It hasn't set up wrong. You got very clear about the wires. Yeah, no, if you pull the wires.
Why put wire? See the wire by it?
That might- that's very good.
All right. Okay, good, Mr. Smith to help.
I'm-
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, let's get started. Come on.
Chief, can you hear me now?
Hello, I hear Councilman Martin, I hear you,
You
Tracy.
can hear Patricia Blow yet?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Table.
You're coming in and out. Everybody else is coming in very clear, but you're coming in and out.
If she take the mask down, it's probably could
Right,
hear.
I think y'all
Everybody
know.
else.
I can barely hear you.
Everybody got a mask on,
You
please.
should request it.
Please. Right, I got my mask on, he got his mask. Please. Yeah,
A whole lot of people.
okay, you wanna make your statement to the chief, whatever you wanna say?
I was saying before that I was doing.
I can't hear words.
Chief, did you hear that?
No, I did not. I hear you very clearly, but I can never hear her.
Let's move on.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Councilor Bahovia stated that she's working diligently trying to move forward to get those improvements to the fire station. Working with several other people, they requested information and they're waiting now. But it
Okay.
seems her,
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's move to police now. Go ahead.
Chief, I just want to say thank you to you and the entire fire department. It was an honor and a pleasure being able to vote on those apparatuses. You all did an outstanding job the other day, I believe, on Artenall.
Yes.
The other new truck that we purchased with the black ladder, I got to see
Yes.
that. Very, very useful, very, very helpful. I saw the men go out there waiting, climb on the porch, put themselves in danger. So on behalf of all of them, I want to say thank you. And also, Chief, I know it's last minute, but we kick off our summer community events for the children Thursday. And if you are free to bring a truck on into the Shaw Stadium parking lot like we did last year, that would be great.
That won't be a problem. If you can send me, give me a call tomorrow or send me an email tomorrow, and I'll make sure that we have some crews there for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for all you.
Thank you for your support.
But we thank you, Chief. We thank our fire people. Keep us updated and you have a good evening. Okay, sir?
Oh, he's got to hang around for the next.
Will do.
Okay. All right. Police Department, Larry McDonald, come on up, sir. How are you this evening?
Hello, I'm doing fairly well. Commander McDonald, City of East Cleveland Police Department.
All right.
I apologize that I wasn't present during the first half of the meeting.
That's okay. Go ahead. Just give us an update of what's going on with police, how we do with hiring, anything the public needs to know.
All right. I'm working really, really hard. Well, I'm gonna keep the eye out. We are working really, really hard, trying to bring the morale up at our police department and make sure everyone is very excited to work here, which a lot of new things have come to our department, a lot of new equipment that city council has allowed us to have. We have new police cars coming. We have Shot spotter, couple other nice electronic things is coming. And with those things, I think we can do our job a lot more and a lot effective with you guys' help and assistance.
Anything else you want to share? How we doing with hiring for the police?
Hiring is still, I mean, we just interviewed actually 3. And out of the 3, they're just getting out of the police academy. They have not taken their state test yet. However, they're on board, ready to come to work.
Anything else you want to share with us?
We had our first deployment from our Star Chase. Our first deployment. Soon as the Star Chase was activated, it hit the vehicle. Guy got so scared, he stopped immediately and jumped out the car with his hands up. So that was really interesting to see. I don't think it's anything. We did hire a corrections officer. She was from the CCSO. She's now with East Cleveland Police Department. She's doing a great job starting out. Got her in training. She'll be in training for 2 weeks. So we got CCSO,
What's that?
the Cuyahoga Sheriff's Department.
Oh, okay. So she worked down in county jail.
Yes.
Oh,
So now she's here with us. We're gonna give her all the training necessary and possible to treat our visitors well.
anything else you need to share with us?
Well, yeah, we've been doing a difference in our patrolling. You should see a lot more police officers, a lot more visiting the gas stations. Our gas stations have been actually to a minimum of any loitering or any hanging around. We have been working on our prostitution, trying to move those out the city. We've been writing for soliciting, writing the females and the Johns for soliciting, actually bringing them into jail, taking pictures of them. So we try to stop that as well. We are working really hard at stopping a lot of the loitering and hanging around. We have also been working with a lot of residents in reference to their citizen concerns and complaints. With that being said, the police department now on each shift, so it's 24 hours a day, you have a community relations officer. That officer is handling all the community complaints. As far as anything, I mean, if I can't get to it during the day, it'll be gotten to in the evening. I do want to say we have started confiscation of the basketball hoops, portable basketball hoops from the kids playing in the street. Now, with that being said, we're not being nasty and just taking their hoops. However, it's very, very serious that they utilize those hoops the correct way. They're not to be played in the street. We used to have signs in East Cleveland said that you couldn't play in the street, but we just had a kid, I think he was 4 years old. He was riding one of those little dirt bikes in the street and he got hit. So, I really want that to decrease. So we giving them warnings. We usually use the mayor purchases some of these green stickers, put the green sticker on it and or talk to the residents and let them know that the portable basketball have to be out of the city streets. Now, if they play within their driveway, that's fine. But when they're in the street, that's a danger. And I know we all did it before, but now things are a little different. We don't want our children to be hurt.
Thank you. I'll yield to. Okay.
A couple questions. One is the 4-year-old riding in the street. Talk to those parents.
No, we just drove by. Absolutely, we spoke to the parents. Actually, yes, we talked to the parents. We went to the hospital. Matter of fact, we transported the kid to the hospital because he was clinging on to one of our junior officers that just started.
Okay. About the gas station, and the gas stations are getting a big concern of mine. So that I'm buying more of my gas other places in the city.
Well, that's
So
something that,
usually I, not what, usually I used to always make points of buying all of my gas in the city unless I was out of town. Always, but, have statistics on changes, falls, from the gas station. Backup yourself for the better.
I'm sure I can get those, but I know it's better because I'm out there doing it with the team. So it's nothing I'm saying to you, I'm not witnessing with my own eyes. And also I live in the community. So these are things that I can speak on as facts. And also,
So do I.
as I know. So with that being said, I could get you those statistics though, if you like, ma'am.
Yeah, I would like to back that up because,
And I buy my gas here. I actually buy my gas at Shell gas station, Euclid and Superior.
really,
Yes, I do.
that's one of the ones that I found trouble.
So if you pass up that area every day, you see it's less and less person standing outside. Actually, the owner of the store was actually ecstatic that the new change and seeing the people actually shift away from his property.
Certainly, has been an issue.
We working hard, very hard. We really been having the problem we really been having, which gas station we've really been focusing hard on is the Express gas station located at Euclid and Charles. That's a lot of younger persons trying to hang out at that location. So we've been working with that management as well.
Tell me this gas I love.
Attorney Smith?
Sergeant, I want to thank you, entire police department, on behalf of myself and council. I understand my colleagues' concern. I see, slightly different. Slight change in the gas stations on Shaw. I ride past there, honestly, through there maybe 10 times a day. Looking, kind of thing where I would get out and record the street walkers, try to offer them help through my organization, through maybe I post on Facebook, I have a female that need help. But at some point, I have to realize some don't want help.
Yes, sir.
So I commend you for that. I know we spoke about the store, and since we spoke, I've seen a difference, change. Get the nail around the head with the gas station, with the young folks across the street from Shaw on the same side of Shaw. I seen a big concentration on with the other two gas stations as well. I know that the police officers get their gas from Shaw and Euclid.
Yes, sir.
A lot of them do, which there's a lot of people standing around. Of course, they spread out. Like we will hope. And, as a city elected official, Mr. President, I will hope that we can all get together and maybe come up with some type of solution or something that some type of order that we can go to the owners and hold them responsible. Because again, I'm from East Cleveland, there a lot, keeping my eyes open. For a long period of time, they didn't even know I was a councilman. I was like in there as like a, let's say, not quite like an undercover, but trying to see what's going on. And you know, a lot of times the youngsters go buy maybe a hot dog. Because the owner say, you know, you're not buying anything, a hot dog. And they able to stand around all day. I talked to a lot of them. I warn a lot of them, because once once it go far, it to a point where it is at a point. Once it gets to a point where I can't do anything, that's for me, is I can't do anything. And I think you all know I like to try to help you before they get in trouble, before they die. So I'm out there, a lot of those gas stations. So I'm when my girl can get out the vehicle and walk straight in, I know that it's a change. I also want to commend the police department with that fire on Artnall, the way police department, Mr. President, blocked off the street and made sure that no other citizens were in danger by riding past the big fire. After commend them on that, and also commend the chief and commander and the police department on their transparency. Very recent present. Things have happened that might be would be considered controversial. You know, we gotten those calls and been able to use our new technology and got a new body camera work and look and to one of my questions, which is great. I would imagine that you all had a chance to use the spot shotter here.
The Star Chase.
Star Chase.
Now that's shot spotter. We working with them this week, today and tomorrow, going around the city, picking out the spots and getting the permission so they could start putting the stuff up for that. It's a lot of good things. I mean, I'm happy to be here to witness a lot of the amazing things that this police department, that this city itself is bringing just to make the residents safe. You know, once people start seeing things are safe, more people will come. And I too see that vision that, you know, people are gonna come.
That's why I thank you all for one of the first things you all did correctly was this. Willing to listen and activists and speak with the other elected officials. Very, my opinion, very different. I say going up. I say I go going up in these people, and I appreciate it.
It was just really down with. Stay safe on this.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions for me? Because I'm anyone
I
out?
want you to stick around. You might want to say something.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, Madam Clerk. Well,
Resolution number 5112. This is a resolution awarding black and black crime. By the general fund, crime violence. Helping programs.
I'm gonna ask Brother Porter and Barbara putting them up.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you just give us a overview of what we're doing here, and then we'll give us the top to have to say. Okay? Now, we'll do something. We've got the law director, chief, he's here. And Willie Hemmings, you can come up if you want to. Here, you can sit here. Anybody sit, you can sit right here. Okay, all right, okay. Okay, Brother Porter, but give us a background on, for those, the public don't know, people on Zoom, people look background on black, and who's been around a while, and then say something about this, okay?
Black on Black Crime Incorporated, and in the creator's name, I hope that I say the correct things that will be edifying to everybody who's listening. Number one, Black on Black Crime Incorporated has been around for over 40 years. The blessed thing about Black on Black Crime Incorporated is the fact that many members not only live in East Cleveland and throughout Northeast Ohio, but we have gone wherever it is when needed to make sure that we do work on behalf of the people. When that is said, It's an honor to be in the historic city of East Cleveland, because when it comes down to it, I am thankful. The reason that I'm thankful is because I have been able to already in my role, before I was even president of this historic organization, in being straightforward and to the point, I've been blessed to work with city council members during the past few years, be it working to secure certain things. A lot of times, my organization is an active organization. It is a activist organization based on the fact, foremost, that Yahshua the Messiah, Jesus, however you want to call it, was our first activist doing the work on behalf of the people. So that means for those people who saw me here, when it came time for everything from recalls to being out here to making sure that we hold police departments accountable, making sure that we hold residents accountable to get out and be able to fend for themselves, fight for themselves, and at least set that example when it comes to dealing with crime. That is part of what we do. Our man-to-man program, in speaking on that in itself, that is part of this proposal, is something where a lot of people like myself will reach out. We will meet with young people, have a program in place and set up where that we hold young people accountable for being able to make the right decisions for themselves, to be able and want to care about themselves, be able to want to tend to their own garden, tend to their own land, and build up the community themselves. So those are some of the things that Black on Black Crime Incorporated has done, to be able to hold at least 5+ meetings with the East Cleveland Police Department based on the fact of this proposal is based on what I personally have learned. And what I learned is that when you get out in the streets to protest, you have to at least have legislation. If Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. came with a right hand with a protest sign, and in the left hand, he had some sort of legislation. The proposal that East Cleveland City Council has right in front of them is that type of legislation to make sure that the citizens can be helped based on what we've already been doing for the past few years, even out of our own personal pockets, to make sure everything is raised to a brand new level.
Brother Porter has said it all. If there are some questions that you might want to ask me pertaining to the proposal, I'll be glad to ask.
I really do. I want to say something to both of them. I've never seen it out of the 16 years that I've been a police officer. Someone literally wants to sit down and see both sides instead of judge on social media, the news. I wait for the day when they come to just sit down at the table and communicate and talk and try to come up with goals and achievements so we all can work together. I want to say it's an awesome and a phenomenal program that they have started. And I'm going to let them know that I'm going to be with them every step of the way, because they have even broadened my eyes to a lot of things that I didn't see. I want to say whatever they're trying to do, I have their back 100%. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mhm.
this. Because I didn't have the choice. Anyway. I brought the original draft, it's just, I don't know whether it's first or afterwards. And whether it's for this one. So, but my response was that we need a lot of. I have a lot of questions here. So the bus. Pounds per gallon, is that still there, the gallons per mile, you know?
No, ma'am. With the way gas mileage is now, if you'd have asked me that some time ago, I could have asked it, but now I can't. Honestly, I can't. But it's a reasonable bus, and it's diesel. So, but I can't answer that question. No, ma'am. But I will say that the bus is very important as a part of the program, not only for transportation, but also the places that it can go and the things that it can do.
The visibility. It's for because I've been to a lot of events. You know, there's like an option because I see the bus.
Yeah.
And you may be out. Most of the stuff. Hard time seeing. Budget.
No, let me go further with that. The hip hop workshop is stationed at Cleveland State. However, they move around. They be at our headquarters, and they be in the backyard of Superfly Barbershop, and so they move around. So it's not sure you got to have a headquarters, and that's where they're sanctioned at, is at Cleveland State, but they move around. And if I might add, for some of the hip hoppers to be able to get out of East Cleveland, to go down to Cleveland State, it's also very enlightening and educational. So we wouldn't want to just be stuck in one place. Many of them get their own rides, but if they need to get there, they will. But we try to let them be independent, get their own ride whenever possible. Is that right, Al?
They definitely are independent, and we are very thankful that a lot of when we've had our hip hop workshops have definitely been not only bus accessible, but we've had hip hop workshops quite a few times at McCall's. The hip hop workshop, which I can put out here on record, has a proclamation because the hip hop workshop started out in the legendary city of East Cleveland in January of 2004. Since then, we have been blessed to have had hip hop workshops on Page. We've had hip hop workshops on Lee Road. We have been able to have the hip hop workshop across from Windermere Rapids. We have even had the hip hop workshop Bristol Manor itself. So the hip hop workshop even being out on, I will say, Ivanhoe, that in itself, we've been able to have hip hop workshop as well as invite artists to come through. Reason being that it's been very important and viable is because we hold all artists and participants to one thing: you can be mean, but keep it clean. So that is what has helped us out. It's helped us to be able to take the hip hop workshop out of East Cleveland, to have a home in Cleveland State where people can, on a major scale, but to be able to bring it back through into East. So we have great many members, including, I will say, one that we lost, but it's very tragic. He had passed from ailments from COVID. His name was Lil Chico. He was a member of Bone Thugs and Harmony's Mo Thug family. His home, Elizabeth Avenue, right in back of, I will say, Superior and by the Rapid Station. Well attended because a lot of people realize that the hip hop workshop was an extension to a degree of the East Cleveland Love Fest. And so we've had several artists that have come from East Cleveland that is part of the workshop, so they would be glad. They always are when it comes back from East Cleveland. Glad you said that. Hip Hop Workshop, we just had our 224th episode. Hip Hop Workshops being 224, I will basically do the math and say that since we have had 224 workshops, approximately 175 have been in East Cleveland. Because the Hip Hop Workshop, if you minus the past 4 years, we only have like hip hop workshops at Cleveland State University about 9 times a year. By having them 9 times a year, that's very different than when we had hip hop workshops at the East Manor, for Fly, for Calls. That's very different. So the reason that it's only at Cleveland State 9 times a year is because the school year is about 9 months. And then you take 3 months that everybody's on vacation, like we're currently on vacation for about 90 days from June office. So most of our workshops will be still stationed throughout the state. For the borderline, yes.
Say that again? Yeah, yes, ma'am. Mhm. Absolutely. Say that again? Yes, ma'am. That the person that's in charge of the hoop house will explain further where they want the hoop house at. No, ma'am, I don't. But I can assure you that the person that is going to be the director of the hoop house is well prepared and has done many. I'm sorry, Miss. I can't hear good as Al, so I'm older. So,
Raspberries right there.
yeah, yeah, yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Absolutely, absolutely. Beg pardon? Well, I can give you a breakdown. I can't give you a breakdown of the $14,000 miscellaneous right now, but I can give it to you. If that's something you want, you can get it. But of course, I can't give it all to you in my head. You wouldn't want me to do that, would you? But I can give you a breakdown of it, and I can give you one of the items that is in the miscellaneous is the popsicle parade that will go through East Cleveland on the Black Man Army bus. There's been a refrigeration donated to it, and we'll go to different streets, different areas, maybe once a week, with the popsicle parade, in which we will go when the children see the bus and the popsicles, they come running. But you know what the purpose of it is? A captured audience. Then we can tell them about all the other things they need to know. So you just think about once a week, the popsicle parade going to different areas. It is expensive and many more things, okay?
So you have some great goals.
Somewhat great goals. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble hearing you. I read your lip if you didn't have your mask on, but so that's the problem. Okay, all right. Okay, he hears real good. Okay, all right.
No.
I think that the problem is you don't have the current copy. You have the first copy, the second. Do you have the current copy? Okay, all right. So when you speak of goals, what goals would you like for us to share with you?
I want to know what specific.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. Now we're rolling. So where are you at? Okay, all right, okay, all right. So listen, it says very clearly that our goal is to dialogue with the senior citizens, schools, recreation centers, and directly to adults. You understand? What we'll be on the road, and what we'll do is we'll meet with seniors at fish fries like we've been doing at the barbershop, and once we do all these things, the hoop house, once we do all these things, as a member of, I'm a crime fighter, okay? So as being a crime fighter for 40 years, like you're probably a politician. So I know the level of things that we can get done. And I truly believe that as far as gunshot fired in the city, fired, pow, pow, I think that can definitely be reduced very without a doubt. I'm sure that could be done. Because the reason I say that is because on my street, me and my little daughter, we used to sit in the window, and I used to hate it all the time. Pow! A gun would go off and she would duck, and so we figured out a way to eliminate that gunshot on my street. And I'm sure that once the seniors and the people know that these gunshots are being fired, I'm sure that we can eliminate most of the gunshots. Well, we did it. Let me put it to you like that. We did it, okay? We did it. And the main thing is that my daughter don't have to hide from the gunshot anymore, and it was done. And so I think if there was a gunshot on your street and you got in touch with us on this program, I guarantee you we could get rid of that gunshot on your street. I don't want to tell everything, but I guarantee you that we could eliminate that gunshot on your street and the next street and the next street. Now, I'm not talking about random gunshots. I'm talking about gunshots that just is annoying and nagging to our neighborhood and scare our children. Those are the gunshots I'm talking about. Well, through building, I'll tell you how. Through building, this whole program is based on building relationships with the police, building relationship with the seniors, building relationship with our young people. And through these relationships come methodologies to stop crime, to stop gunshots, to the area that's sensitive. It's the relationship. This whole proposal is about building relationships. We've already started building a relationship with the police department. So by building that relationship, we can go to McDonald, the police department, and with that relationship, we can say guns were fired over there. And through that relationship, we can go to, by building a relationship with the seniors. Through a relationship, they feel comfortable letting us know that there were gunshots on their streets and on a regular basis. And through that relationship with them and the police and us, we can make a difference. The same thing with the young people. They can say that the young people might be firing gunshots on their street or this. We can, it's a relationship. We can relate with the police through the hip hop. We can relate with the youngsters through the hip hop workshop, through their captive audience. We can work with the police department and we can work with the senior citizen. And that's how we intend on making a difference, is through relationships. We think that that's one of the biggest things missing today, is all of us having the proper relationship we have to attack the problem. And that's how we plan on doing it.
I'll talk to you about being in this program for 16 years, and then having a series of 13 hurricanes into my life. How did that change my relationship with neighbors?
Yeah, could I share that with you? But it didn't change our relationship, because when it happened, who'd you come to? Wait a minute, hold on. If me and you had a relationship, right? Am I right? And so you came to me and said, Art, I'm having a problem at my house, via police or whatever. And so our relationship, what happened with our relationship? We tried to work on a solution, right? Our relationship, I'm talking about me and your relationship. Yes, ma'am, I understand. I understand. I understand. I understand that.
Okay,
Hope.
I'm gonna have to make a request. Thank you. Mrs. Logan. Thank you for the question. We're gonna wrap this up in 3-4 minutes.
Yes.
Juanita Collins and Lieutenant Brown. Gonna give 4 minutes to Ernest Smith. I want to leave that much. Then I need to give a feel for you guys ready to move forward.
I'm gonna take a page out of my colleague's book, and it's actually in the charter also. I'm gonna write.
Oh, I read that, brother.
Mhm.
Take these up, I want to be real serious.
All right.
Every member of this council knows what's standing right in front of us. But Art, I thank you for coming here being humble today. Let me possibly continue some of your statements. The action that's in this packet we all know that they already doing. Like the hip hop workshop brings together youngsters, people of all ages, all genres, gets them off the streets for hours. Like the situation where Councilwoman Dr. Pat felt that she didn't get the action she wanted from the police department. All these gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. That answer to me, that answers one of her questions. That is a vision that I had 14 years ago, that the community will be a big part of policing and taking care of itself. This is history, monumental history right here that's in front of us. This little money they asking, they could, with everything they've been doing for the past 40 years, can honestly ask for more. Since I've been knowing them, they've never asked for city funds. You know why? Because they care enough in their heart to do it out of their pocket. I'm sorry, I don't mind the questions, but all this politicking and all this, the same people who ask the questions, the same people who you all help, I won't stand here for you. We have a chance to have people that the community trusts to work with the police department, not to step on the people's necks, but to gain more trust, more love in the community, more togetherness, more programs, more serving of the people. Again, I don't mind the questions, but all these questions, when we know the answers, it's ridiculous. Everyone know that they started in East Cleveland, spent a lot of their time in East Cleveland, sacrificed in East Cleveland. All of us have worked with them over the years. I don't mind the questions, but all this politics, when they the people who came and helped you, and you needed help. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. We have a chance for people who the community trusts. And we speak about what they doing. Can you imagine if they had this money years ago? What? Would it have helped? Years ago? I commend you all because I know you all don't like government funding. I commend you all for bringing this here to the great city of East Cleveland. I know for a fact hip hop workshop will and will continue to be. Yes, they home is at Cleveland State, but they will continue to be. And we have a workshop coming up in East Cleveland right off Ivanhoe, like you stated, this summer. To help serve the health interest rights and needs of the youngsters, especially youngsters who people scared to get out here and talk to. We need this entity because people are scared to talk to the police. They might want to call Al Ford and talk to Al Ford. They might want to call Big Brother Art McCoy. They might see one of the ladies of Black on Black and trust them before they might trust Sergeant McDonald. So we need this in our city. They've been doing this without asking for anything, sacrificing for 40 years. Buildings, bills, serving the people, it costs money. Here. And they're gonna keep serving. Whether we say yay or nay anyway.
That's right.
Thank you for that.
Okay, what I need to know, and I'm not gonna say much, because I support Black on Black. We go way with it. I first started over 30 years ago. So I need to know from this committee, how you committee move this forward. Okay. So you're located off, what is that place in Cleveland, brother? I've been here a couple of times.
I've been home.
Right, well, what is it? Get back and forth. I've been to some of the workshops over the years. I may make an adjustment. One area I'll make an adjustment on the street. Other expenses, I may cut that in half. Just to be able to do it. That is what I'm struggling with right now. The other part is okay with me. So what I need to know from this committee, so when is the next council meeting? Five? We go. Brother Smith, you ready to move forward? I'm ready to move forward. You can go back. What do you say? I'm gonna get to her, please. Come on. Please, right. And then we run it. Yeah, I know you're excited about it, but come on. Go ahead.
Money first.
No, ma'am. Mhm.
Talk about ARPA money. Yeah, did it.
Mhm.
I'm just saying.
Between now and next. Go ahead.
Why didn't you do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
No.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, really, we didn't apply. We didn't apply. Mhm.
I think we still get some money left over from that.
Mhm.
Being, back and forth with the locations.
Eh.
And I think that it might not have anything to do with the public.
Mhm. Mhm.
You're saying you guys are located in Cleveland.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me make this clear. We were in East Cleveland for 24 years. And you all know most of our locations. Once McCall's, our last location, closed, and Miss Brown across the street, that location closed. Then we got the next place that we could get, a quarter mile, less than a quarter mile from East Cleveland border, maybe not even that far. So if you speak of location, we're still East Cleveland. We just have a Cleveland address. Because Ms. Tollfree, one of our members, can if she was good health, she could walk to our location. So if you know yourself that locations in East Cleveland aren't that easy to come by, but I want to share one other thing with you. My business, Superfly Barbershop, where we have had many of our meetings, senior fish fries and all of that, is right in the heart of East Cleveland. So I just want to share. And by the way, my address is 1882 Hastings in East Cleveland. So if I need to get any more entrenched in East Cleveland than that, I'd like to know what it is. I know, dear. I know.
Any more questions? How do you feel about moving forward? This is what you need to do. The next meeting is the 19th, the council meeting. Got questions? Got those questions answered? Because I'm gonna have it on the agenda for next council meeting. I already know what I'm gonna be discussing. That's what I'm discussing.
On what, sir?
Under expense, I'm gonna cut that in half. Get $7,000. I'm gonna cut that. That's the other part of it's okay.
Yes, sir.
If Dr. Patricia Bovee has questions for you, Art McCoy, and L. Porter, give them your number so they can reach you. Same for Juanita Galley, so we don't have to go back over this on the 19th. Is that correct? Okay. Well, Smith, we're all right with this. I'm gonna make a change. I'm telling you right now. We're gonna cut that in half. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. What I'm saying, for the record, got questions, with someone resolve questions, contact Art McCoy, you give them their number, and the president, Al Ford. For the 19th, I'm gonna put up for the vote. For first reading, right, okay. The first reading will be, July, then what's the meeting in August? 16th of the company, if you go fine, you get what you request. Okay, and I wish you the best,
Could I say one thing?
yes.
It would be an honor to me, 40 years fighting crime, almost that long in East Cleveland. It would be truly an honor for me if we could get a unanimous vote. It would really touch my heart if we could get a unanimous vote from all the council members for this package. They say by your deeds shall you be known. And just that alone, it would be an honor for me to get a unanimous vote. I know relationships are this and that, you know, but this ain't about nothing but to continue to serve the people that I've served in my business, in my home, in the community for almost 40 years. It would be an honor to get a unanimous vote to say we understand the work you're doing.
Before I have the same way, that I don't speak for myself, still speak for itself, Golly, Oliak, and Clarice Stevenson, she don't go, he's not here. So, and so.
Yes, sir. I understand. I understand.
How to take place.
I understand, sir. I understand clearly.
Everything looks okay. Just do that.
Yes, sir.
What I'm saying is, before you go, those who have questions, some readiness, make sure you get the number to them. So when I
Absolutely.
bring it up, July 19th, I'm gonna ask you if they get their questions in, okay?
Absolutely.
So you know it's all a process.
I understand.
It's about
No,
process.
no problem. No problem.
I want to thank you guys. All you've done over the years. I remember walking the streets and doing all that over the years. And you script those in too. So you're looking good. And I can't know if you're gonna get unanimous, but I think things are pretty good. But I want you to answer their questions. I don't want them to say, well, I didn't get my question answered, and you're not dealing with this stuff all the time. That's why I'm saying, before you leave today, I want to make sure that when you Golly, Bishop Hoback, and Ms. Stevenson is not here, and have your number, so if you have the question, you can answer the question. Okay? Okay, you have each other's number, or do you have it? Do you have it, Golly? Yes, do you have it?
Miss Gowdy, you've been here at my number, you lost? Come on. Oh, okay, I don't.
Okay,
Okay, all right,
get the
okay.
number. I don't know if Ms. Stevenson, Tracy.
My goodness.
You get the number, and you make sure everybody has it. Okay, 'cause I don't want to waste no time.
Sure.
Okay? Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I see some of the people back up and seeing over the years. Good to see you guys. Okay?
You all have a few minutes, we're about to have a quick personnel appointment.
Yeah, we want to stick around.
I think this would be, obviously, you all.
Okay.
And I want to.
Okay, I can wait. You gotta go.
Art McCoy and Al Ford. Well, honored that you came to us. Why should you come to us? Because for all you can. The time is now. Okay? All right. Thank you.
I know you gotta
I'm
go.
going to adjourn this meeting. I want to thank everybody for the participation. Thank you. Get your questions answered. Are you ready? It's got you. Got another meeting for personal appointment with Frank Smith. Okay, let the record, what have I? Okay. And Tracy had both Al Porter's number and Arthur Porter. You have the number. All right, this meeting, determine what time is it? 6:43. Thank you. All right,
I'm going right into it.
go right into it.
Time is 6:43. Personnel and Appointments Committee meeting is now called to order. Date is June 28th, Tuesday, June 28th. Madam Clerk, please call the roll, please.
President,
Present. Okay, thank you. Remark of the public and agenda items only.
No, I wanted to talk about that black on black crime thing, but it doesn't look like you got it.
we doing that, Justin, we got it a little late.
It doesn't look like, because there was no remarks from the public on the end of it.
I didn't
I
see
get
it.
remarks of the public.
On the end.
Okay, go ahead.
So, seeing because of time, and this agenda, I want to skip, adopt council office policy, staff and talent. We all know that we have staff and talent, but Mr. President, might have a special meeting.
Yeah, I think if I can, Mr. Chairman, with that, I'm asking everybody to read this. I think about, what was it, 8 years ago? Yeah. Randy King, who was a councilman, we came over to policy, we spent 10 months with him. 10 months, and you can read the personal policies, we did some training, okay? So we can't read it, we can't go say that, it's in here, right? But we spent a lot of time on it, we were back and forth, we were arguing and all that. We moved by the time. Read that, and we talk about it the next week.
So I'm gonna bag you up on that and just tag to myself, we all read it over again.
Right. Yeah.
Read all that.
Okay.
We have our great law director here, so you can move on to resolution, please, Madam Clerk.
The outside ordinances of the city of Detroit, open and first, people, all by police officers and firefighters, they had it put in terms of that.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Law Director is gonna represent the administration. I do wanna say, you will hear me saying this several times until my mind gets clear on this. Several years ago, President Joy Brown tried to bring this exact legislation to the table, and, I keep it professional. I just say that it wasn't well received by our,
Chiefs.
police department. So now I see it's a reversal, change of thoughts, change of mind. So Madam Law Director, please tell us what has changed in the last couple of years.
Well, what has changed is COVID. What has changed is the personnel, not policies, but the requirements to become a police officer. People do not want to become police officers anymore. So they are very severely short-staffed. And after the Floyd situation, a lot of good people got turned off about going to, the police academy. So this legislation would allow us to get officers from other cities, from other places, from even downstate. It would also allow us perhaps to even go down to the community college to try to get people to come to East Cleveland. And East Cleveland, unfortunately, has a very bad reputation. A lot of the incidents and the things that have happened in East Cleveland have been severely exaggerated out of proportion. And so people think it's a bad place to work. Actually, it's a wonderful place to work. We have good people here. We have a lot of support here. Sometimes the infrastructure belies how warm and how gracious the environment is. So if we could be allowed to go to other police departments, not only in Northeastern Ohio, but around the state, to get good people to come from wherever they are to be in East Cleveland. Right now, I wouldn't even want to hypothesize how many officers we have on staff right now. And this severely compromises the safety and the security of the population. So what we would like to do is to laterally transfer people. That means, you know what lateral transfer is? That means going to other police departments and allowing them to come and to apply for positions. Also, not only the lateral transfer is involved, but also I think we passed or we were looking at increasing the age for the officers. Some of us older citizens are still in good shape, kind of, sort of. I mean, so rather than just the 34, 35-year-olds, we are looking to increase the age. It works side by side. So if we can get some good 38-year-olds, 42-year-olds, I mean, people nowadays, 40 is the new 30, 50 is the new 40. So if we can, do that, I think that we could have people that can still run and jump and do push-ups and pull-ups and climb poles, so that even at 42 years of age. So I would encourage you, I don't know exactly where that is now. I think we lifted the age limit already. So that was for police and fire. Yeah, it was for police and fire. Yeah. Well, I think it related to civil service. I think a careful reading. Okay, would include the police officers, but at any rate, I think we can all agree that the police department and the fire department are severely short-staffed. And so if you would allow us to go to other departments in order to replenish the supply of able-bodied, willing persons who will come and serve the citizens of East Cleveland, then that would be greatly appreciated. Any questions? Yes. Well, and McDonald's workers are getting more than that at this point. The unions, both unions are in the FOP and are in negotiations, and the IAFF are in negotiations. They have an attorney, Michael Esposito, who's being paid to represent them and to try to get some accord, so that the city has offered a very generous package that, of course, when the negotiations are concluded, you have to approve. And it includes benefits, health benefits and life insurance and other kinds of benefits that should attract more individuals. So as soon as the union negotiations are complete, I think that'll be a positive.
No, we need to do that. If you wanna teach somebody to,
Mhm.
you gotta do. give them the
Absolutely.
training you need to get started. Because we see these police officers that fit in and out. After they get their year training or whatever, they go on somewhere else. It seems like training bases right here. So
Right,
they can go somewhere else. So order for us to keep anybody, we have to give them quality money. So for these people that family, their life is on the line, if they don't have family, it's still their life.
right. And the way policing is now, it could be, your life could be snuffed out like that. They're killing police right and left. That, not only the bad rap, but the danger of the job is also a very important factor. I mean, it's a real dangerous job. I mean, wives and significant others, when they have their men and women leave the house, they don't know if they'll ever come back.
That's why they. So when they go home. Not.
Right,
My kids make more money than me. So
True.
I'm serious.
mm-hmm,
So if we going to do something, we gotta do it. Right. So I don't mind all that which we with them coming.
from other districts, from other precincts, from other. Yeah, well, that's in the hands of the union and the, and the attorney. Well, then, when the package is completed, I'm sure that it will be presented to you because you have to review the new CBA collective bargaining agreements, and that will be presented to you as soon as the negotiations are over. I'm not part of it. I don't know what the holdup is, but the fiscal commission, of course, oversees everything regarding finances. And I think their concern is, while we want to raise the wages significantly, now, when the ARPA funds run out in 2024, 25, 26, and, we haven't changed our tax base. We haven't changed our income tax. Our property taxes are still low. We only have a 63% collection rate, and other cities have like 92, 93%. I mean, property taxes are due July 14th, and what we receive is much lower. Mm-hmm.
A real plan that's going to have a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So the next person can take over. If whatever it takes, grant money or whatever it is, to stay where they need to be, or get some fundraising going or whatever we need. But they not want to stay, look at the game.
Even running, yeah.
That's bad money right here.
The police cars, correct.
Yeah, so
Right.
we have to be careful when we say that we want them to know that they want to have money to feed them. If they don't have money to feed their family, they ain't gonna have. That's bottom line. And by being single, they still want to live. They gotta do it.
Mhm. Well, we're trying to draw people from all over the state. Michael Cardilli is doing background checks and recruiting people from all around. Did I say the wrong thing? But anyway, well, he has come back in terms of a position of finding people. Well, I mean, he's good at that, at finding eligible persons who can pass all the tests. I mean, to be a police officer, you have to be super duper in terms of your character, in terms of your physical fitness, in terms of even your credit rating and drug screens and all that have to be passed. So you have to be just a superior individual. I mean, when they come on board.
After they come on board, how often do you bring them?
Well, the handbook kind of takes care of that, covers that. If you have reasonable suspicion to think that somebody is on drugs, you can send them for drug tests. Or also after an accident, any ambulance that's involved in an accident, they have to go take a drug test. If a police officer is involved in an accident, he has to go take a drug test. Plus, our new HR director, Samika Burton, has introduced a new EAP program. You just don't fire people because you suspect that they might be using drugs. You send them to treatment. An EAP, employee assistance program, is engaged. So I don't know how often at this juncture, it's if an incident occurs, an accident or something that gives one reasonable suspicion, then you send them for a drug test. But just coming on board, you have to pass all that. In the beginning, you have to pass all that scrutiny. You have to give references. And plus, these people coming from other departments, what happens whenever one of our guys or ladies wants to go to another department, a representative comes from the other department to look at their personnel file and look at all the reprimands or write-ups or anything, that is in the personnel file that might be disparaging. So you have to clear all those obstacles in order to be a police officer. And that's why they say the city's finest.
So on record, I'm just saying, you could include, they do have some good officers, and I get that. But we
Part on the record, I interact very closely with the police officers, and I'm proud of them. Pardon? What? I spend most of my life in these. Okay. Can we move on to the relevant questions, Your Honor? Your Honor, who's in charge of this committee? Can we move on to the relevant questions? No. People get picked up every day, shoplifting in that area. I have heard, when I was a defense attorney, I did hear that that jail was one of the best, had cable and everything. One of my shoplifting clients said, "This is the best jail I've ever been in." So, no, it wasn't. But yeah, jail is a jail, confinement is confinement. But to the point, our officers that we have on board are committed, they're dedicated, they come in at the drop of a hat. Some of them don't even really want to leave this place. Many of them have offers from other places, but they want to stay here. In fact, one detective told me that, I don't know if this is really relevant, but some ladies even thought it was a badge of honor to date a East Cleveland police officer, because that meant he was strong, he was streetwise, he knew his way around, he was very, very competent, capable individual. So having that as one of your personality traits is seen as a badge of honor. But basically, we just want to go to other jurisdictions and try to get qualified police officers to supplement the staff, the short staffing that we have.
Yeah.
Oh.
My question is,
Mhm.
we're trying to get more police and more fire, is that correct?
Yes.
My question is promotion. This is why I need clarification. If the police chief, we promote the police chief internally, is that correct?
Well,
This is why I need clarification.
Okay, that's, yeah, that, okay. Oh, you're getting to the nitty gritty. Okay. Are you asking me if we would be able to bring in top brass from other
Right.
areas with this
That's
look?
my-
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to hide anything. That would be possible.
That would mean like, we can bring, we will bring, we can
Uh,
bring, if possible, but that means we can eventually have
E- Eventually,
not in.
I
the
would,
room.
I would,
This was just,
among the other things that we've discussed already, the good things, try to draw talent from wherever talent can be drawn.
Well, I have a proclivity and a bias toward, I think people should be known within, internally.
I understand.
Because they've been here a while, they know the
Yeah.
officers, that kind of thing.
And the
One of the
community.
reasons why we struggled while I was there was the fact that we wanted promotion from within the police department, not going outside and bring somebody in.
Well, sometimes you get a fresh viewpoint
Well,
coming
we
from
open to
outside.
that, but-
Yeah, a new way of looking at things.
We got police officers been 15, 20 years, and they have the qualifications to move up to be chief. I think they should have that, they should be looking at them, not bring somebody else in who may have quick credentials that have been around. So that's my concern about this. When I was
Piece of
reading-
legislation.
I'm reading the second year, I won't go in, but it says, all appointments and promotions in the classified service of the city shall be made by the mayor according to the mayor's fitness, which shall be ascertained. Okay, well, I'm struggling with that.
Uh.
Okay. That's a real.
Well, I mean,
challenge.
the,
That's a
the,
challenge, okay?
no, this is a civil service, position, okay? This, basically, it would be civil service, and the person that comes from the other, jurisdiction would have to meet all of the credentialing, standards that our own police officers
But that
meet.
would still give the mayor the option, if you want to hire someone outside of the city, police group, you can do that. Is that correct?
Well, that's what lateral transfer would do, but, well, I mean, sometimes, you, sometimes people get into I think that, Counselor Gowdy put it well when she told the press one time that there was a culture that wanted to be overcome. Remember? Peggy Gallagher there, I see all your interviews. Okay, so if the only way you can overcome the culture is to bring people from another culture, maybe a more positive culture. See? So, I mean, sometimes you have to look outside in order to, improve or change the culture.
Historically, I saw something happen in the last 8 months in Memphis, in Curry, and that's black on black working with the police department. That doesn't happen nowhere in this. country.
Right, and the current chief initiated that and kept it up.
Right?
And
So
you,
we gotta be mindful of that type of.
and he's, and the police chief was very, very open. I started to say that you and I were both on board in the late 80s and 90s when Art McCoy came and we were fighting, you and I both were fighting for the students, and Art McCoy was right along with us.
I want to recognize the presence of our mayor.
I think he can articulate some of your concerns better than I have. Yes, Dr. Bahovia. The one that was appointed by the Department of Justice in order to monitor the progress of the changes. From his personal phone, you mean? No, that, I'm sure you misunderstood. It probably was his personal phone number he was referring to, because you had his cell phone. Didn't you have his cell phone? You can get a TRO downtown, a temporary restraining order from downtown, a civil, it's called a CSPO, a civil stalking protection order. Well, you have to be certified for lease. I mean, yeah, you have to have a person with integrity who has passed all the credentialing process to be certified to run lease checks, and they're very, very careful. So whatever else he is, he's an honest person with integrity that has passed the lease examinations. Okay. Well, I mean, put that aside because there's several other people that can run background checks and do those sorts of things. And it's a group effort to bring in persons from other jurisdictions, other cities, other communities that can bring a fresh perspective to. I'm not familiar with that problem. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yes. So, yeah. So, and there was some issue about, former Chief Mike Cardilli, who's been doing background checks on the most current new hires. He's done a fabulous job in doing those, background checks. We recruited some very good officers. We've just interviewed, 3 who've just graduated from the academy and who are looking to take their tests in the next 30 days and come on as East Cleveland police officers as a result of the work that Michael Cardilli has done in terms of finding folks and interviewing them. But you have to remember, a lateral transfer does not necessarily require an in-depth background check because they're already police officers. A lateral transfer is for an example, a sergeant in one department coming to East Cleveland and being a sergeant here, instead of starting as a 3rd grade police officer, then go to a 2nd grade and go into a 1st grade and then becoming a sergeant. Lateral means if you have a rank in one department and you come here, you maintain that same rank. Now, how that's a benefit to us is that they have experience in leadership. Now, we can check their jacket at the department to see whether or not they had complaints on them, which is open to any type of interview that needs to be done. But secondly, which is equally as important, we will pay them at a sergeant's rate. So when you come through the door in East Cleveland, you're a police officer, 3rd grade, you get $17 an hour to put your life on the line. And if you know anything about policing in East Cleveland, you put your life on the line in many cases. So if there is a lieutenant in another department that's looking to come to the city of East Cleveland, it's a lateral transfer, meaning they're a lieutenant in Cleveland Heights and they'll become a lieutenant here in the city of East Cleveland. For us, because of our wages are so low, we don't have to reduce them all the way down to $17 an hour. We'd at least pay them a decent salary because it's a lateral transfer that you get the experience, because all the new officers, I would say 80% of our patrolmen have less than 3 years of experience. Less than 3 years of experience. So that lateral transfer allows us to bring experienced officers who know policing and know how to lead junior officers. That's the most important part of this, so that when you see our police officers on the street, you know that there's leadership out there with them that have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years of experience, particularly working in communities like ours, if they're from the city of Cleveland. And why are they leaving the city of Cleveland? Why is Cleveland having a problem with maintaining and hiring new officers? Is because of the consent decree that they're working under. Those officers believe that they're being hamstrung by that consent decree and they can't do proper policing. Now, trust me, there's bad police officers everywhere. There's bad police officers in East Cleveland. There were bad police officers in East Cleveland and we send them to jail. There's bad people in every profession, but there are good officers out there that are now being hamstrung by an agreement that wasn't because of the work that they did. It could have been because of their coworkers. And if we're interviewing those and we want to do a lateral transfer, we will check them out thoroughly, starting with their own file that's kept by them in their department. And if they're from the city of Cleveland, we'll look at the records that the feds had done in order to put the consent decree. So it's easy to check a person who's currently working as a police officer than it is someone who's looking to become a police officer, because their most current work history is in their file at their current employer, which will tell you their history as a police officer in their community. That has nothing to do with Michael Cardilli's work here as the former chief. He simply does background checks. He does them thoroughly. If you ever want to see or participate in an interview as the chair of this committee or as a counselor at large or a counselor of a ward, we'd be more than happy to include you so that you can see the quality work that he puts in to finding and interviewing and doing background checks for potential candidates to be police officers in this community. I have no idea what went on with any of the counselors that are present here today, but I know the work that he does because I see it and I work with it every day. And you can ask any of the police brass who's a stickler on good policing, and that's as far as I'll go. But a lateral is simply taking someone who holds a rank in another department and giving them the same rank in this department if we hire them. And if we have to do a background check, we start with the file that exists with their current employer. That's how that works. Yes.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. But the pay rate
So
is really terrible. And you know, kids from McDonald's and stuff didn't eat. I mean, for real. The life is on the line for one thing.
Mhm.
I feel like the pay rate is so low that once you take the taxes and all that stuff, and even with the overtime that they make, it's like they're not really getting the benefits and the money for a family. Some of them have families.
Counselor Gowdy, I agree with you 1,000%. I agree with you 1,000%. But let me say this. We now have before us an opportunity to revitalize this community, to bring in new employees and new residents in the target area. The land bank was here several weeks ago. They're coming back again next week. We're talking about a $120 million potential development project that brings in 230 living units, which means there's normally 2 to 3 people per household. So that's 500 to 600 new residents who can afford living in the types of homes that we're planning on building, which then brings in a tax base. And then followed by that is commercial development that we're looking in to bring in employees who then will pay their 2% to the city of East Cleveland, which then will allow us, when we go into contract negotiations, to increase the salaries, not only of police, but of fire and everyone else in here to begin to get it commensurate to other communities. So what you have before you today is simply a smaller piece of a larger picture. And we keep bringing pictures of the pieces of a puzzle that we're asking you to allow us to put together. Now, bringing other officers in and bringing them laterally means that we have an opportunity to bring experienced officers into our department and pay them a sergeant's rate because there was a sergeant somewhere else. But that, in a larger context, is we have before us a proposal where we put in less than 4% of a $120 million project so that we can build a new neighborhood that will attract more people and will attract businesses so that we can increase our tax base, which allows us to pay those people, our officers, our firefighters, our paramedics, a better rate of pay. So all of this connects. It's just, we have to make decisions. You have to make decisions on whether or not we can take these pieces of this puzzle and connect them. Oh, I really don't know. I can get the rate from you. I just don't remember. Absolutely. So we're in contract negotiations now, and we have some money, and we plan on giving them increases. So you don't want to do that. What we're doing is giving them a premium pay. You don't want to use ARPA to increase their rate of pay because ARPA is finite. Once it runs out, it's gone, but you're stuck with these higher rates of pay. But what you do is you use ARPA money to help build the new neighborhood that brings in that tax base so that we have consistent growth in income because we're increasing the population and increasing the number of people who are going to work in the city. So you get to use ARPA indirectly to help the police by using those funds to build a new neighborhood, using those funds to restore the park. That park is an economic development project. East Cleveland becomes a destination, meaning people are going to be coming here year round just to be inside of that park. And we have ARPA money now to put in that park. So in essence, you will be using ARPA funds to increase the wages of people, but you'll be doing it indirectly because once you attract more people to move in the community, once you attract businesses to move into the community, once you attract visitors in the community, they'll be spending more money in the community, which generates greater revenue and gives us a tax base where we can then pay people higher rates of pay. The revitalization of this community, the success of this community lies in the hands of 5 people. And that's you, City Council. We propose it to you. We go and build these relationships. We go and get them to commit resources. We go and get them, convince them to use their resources to build in our community. But they're saying, hey, does the city have skin in the game? We have ARPA funds that doesn't come out of our general fund to help do that. And that's your responsibility. And we're putting in $4 million.
And you want us to kick in $4 million.
Right. We also want in a $20 million project in Ward 3 to go into the park, $2 million. The park. That's in Ward 3. Yes, I'll get it for you. But he asked a question. He had a question. I had to respond to it. And in Ward 4 at Neela Park, which was purchased by Phoenix Investments, who's looking to rebuild that park, we likely need to put ARPA money in that as well. And you're talking about $40–50 million that they'll be committing to rebuilding that park. So there's things that'll be going on in every ward, all 3 wards. We talk, right. And I am talking about it, and you have control over the resources to make it happen. But indirectly, when you generate that revenue, you generate taxes out of it, which allows us to pay police and fire services higher wages. So this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. Okay. I'm about to get the sergeant rate. Let me get the sergeant rate. So how are they getting this extra money? I don't know what someone told you. So they would pay the same tax rate they would do anything. We can't deny the government its taxes. That's something that there's no way around taxes. You're either going to pay it now or you're going to pay it later. But you're going to pay it. No, it was based on the number of hours they worked. And we gave them $2.50, am I correct? For every hour they work within that quarter. So that's less, that's significantly less than what they make an hour. If you're a starting police officer at $17.50 and we gave you $2.50 for that same hour, that means you're making $15 less for that premium pay than you were if you worked that hour and we paid you your hourly rate. So do you suggest that we not give them anything? I'm listening clearly. So what's the otherwise? So we pay everybody every 2 weeks a lump sum. Yes, your check is a lump sum of every hour you work for 2 weeks. We don't pay you every hour on the hour. We don't pay you on a daily basis. We pay you a lump sum of 10 days that you've worked. If we pay you on an hour, you're still going to pay your taxes. And at the end of those 10 days, you're going to come out to the same amount because everybody will be taxed on every hour that you work.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna stay on track. I'm gonna get to the.
Thank you, Council.
The most important, thank you. The most important people in this room is our residents. Before we have any questions on this particular subject, you have any questions? Anybody?
Yes, I do. My name is LaTisha Barnes, I stay 14517 Strathmore. If all this $1 billion off of stuff coming in, why come it's a secret? Don't know handful of people.
No disrespect. This about this. They kind of went off track. This it was on the same track. This is about hiring police officers from outside the city.
Yeah, well, I'm getting ready to say, I'm getting ready to talk about that. Okay, all right, because all that I know con game when I hear con game. You know, the visible people the people in the community should see the development and stuff, so we can have a voice in the matter. You know, all this you get is gonna wipe all the people out of East Cleveland. All you good? Man, I'm talking about it, man. Let me talk. You let him talk for 30 minutes.
About what's on this page. When it's time.
In the meantime, man, this is all a secret. Why come the public don't know about this? Okay? You don't do, Cleveland get ready to build a new stadium, 5 years down the road, but you know about it, okay? Why come we don't know about it? So we can have an idea, do I want to invest in it or do I want to leave? That's all I gotta say.
Now it's time. Now it's time for, now it's time, I'm gonna allow comments on any subject. People wanna be respected, you have to give respect. The bottom line is, all I was trying to tell you, my neighbor, I was trying to ask you to stick to the subject, and then you would have more than enough time. Everybody knows that even though I say 7:30, I'm willing to stay here way past time. Come on now. I don't like politicking, I don't like people tricking. I hate it. I ask you to just stick on the subject, and all of a sudden now Ernest Smith the bad guy. No. This is humbly my meat buttered on by the people. I'm talking about you were just talking to me. And I'm done when I'm done. I have this. I don't take the disrespect, because I don't disrespect you all. I go out my way. Disrespect. Faith. Don't you go with your faith? It's not that time. It's not the time, my brother. It's not the time. See this big smile on my face. I'm not mad at you. Now is the time to talk about any open discussion. I have to get my 2-year-old home. So I brought to the meeting because that's how much I care. And all of you know that I'm willing to stay here as long as I have to.
Thanks, Mr. Councilman Smith. I don't think anybody here wants that development in Dr. Pat, Councilor Gowdy, and now my area more than us. I'm sure we all like excited about some development in the area. Yeah, I know that we all want that. I mean, we not only do we want it, we need it. We have no choice. Like, we need development there. I'll probably say this may be one of the times I could agree with most of the stuff the chief of staff stated, especially about that development. You got to plan it all first and get all the details in order. Then it's no way Gowdy's going to allow for the public to not know about that development. You know what I mean? When the time is right, she'll let it be known. It's just, I don't think it's the right time because there's too many details of the inside that needs to be worked out, but people can still come to the meetings. So we are excited about that development. I mean, I wish we could start building today. Yeah, we need that. We need development down there. We have no choice. And if you give these officers a huge raise now, we're going to probably be in a deficit in a couple of years. So we need the tax base is really what we need. And as far as just my suggestion for the police, legislation, because before they came, I understood how you all were not for this legislation at all. And I understand it. We went through this before. Maybe because I heard what your concerns were. So my suggestion is maybe there could be something in that legislation where it says, with the approval of council for the, bringing in or firing or whatever, because I know your concern was that you didn't want one person to just be able to throw the people who've been here a long time away or whatever. But maybe they could get, because Ms. Gowdy talked about culture, and we do need to bring in different officers from different departments to kind of shift some of the culture here. And the way to do that is to get other officers experienced in here from other departments. But maybe since y'all were so against it, maybe that could be a suggestion, that because I think something has to be done with the department as far as getting more people in. Something. I know you all weren't really for this, but maybe a substitute could be, maybe council can approve who comes or goes, the final approval or something like that, because from what I heard from you before they got in here, it doesn't sound like this is going anywhere. But I think that something needs to be done in this area. I don't know, maybe you could talk with him and see it. Thanks, Councilman Smith, for that time.
Sergeant's pay is $24 starting. 24. Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, there's a sergeant sitting right outside. Let me also, no, it's not bad at all. I couldn't fathom elected officials not wanting to have experienced police officers in the field. I just couldn't fathom such a thing. And to take someone who's been here for 2 years, currently, we have to promote them in order to have leadership when we bring other people in. Is that the best thing to do? Possibly not. Can we find someone with 10 years experience as a sergeant, been a sergeant for 10 years? Is that a good idea to bring them in laterally? That's probably a better way to build a management structure in an area where lives are on the line. If you pass the legislation, I think you should pass it as is, because it's a good piece of legislation, allowing us to bring experienced officers in here, and then allowing us to bring experienced officers in here at a rate of pay that's respectable. It's your business, it's under your purview, but then secondly, let me say this. So this is a public forum. The county land bank has come here on several occasions to talk about what the development is. So it's not being done in dark. As a matter of fact, Councilman Martin, you may remember, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, we did a target area plan with Case Western Reserve and Neighborhood Progress, Inc. for that area. We had the entire community out. NOAA helped organize those meetings. Yes, we helped organize those meetings. They did an entire target area plan, meeting after meeting after meeting, designing it. So the community has been involved in the beginning. That was 7 or 8 years ago. And then we recently had, several years ago, we had Cleveland State do a visioning plan to follow up on that target area plan, right? So the community has been involved in that. They held several public forums. They even, the head of the school, I'm sorry.
We all know Councilman Galvin is not having, the community will be informed.
And I would just like to say, in order for us to move it further, Council Chair, the community, the planner that we have is going to bring all of this to the community, right? We're trying to get these pieces in place so that we can line up people and developers and agencies to show them that they need to invest in our community, because they don't think we're putting skin in the game. They think we have the political will. They respect the government like they've never respected this government in over 20 years. That's the talk that's going around in the state of Ohio. But they want to see if we're going to put skin in the game. Skin in the game is, are we going to invest in our own community? Because they're investing in our own community. Cuyahoga County is willing to put $2 million to match the $2 million that we need to put into an $18 million restoration of Forest Hills Park. Cuyahoga County is going to match our $2 million. But they're saying, we had a phone call with Cheryl Stevens today, our county councilwoman, we're going to match what the city doing. What is the city doing? How much money is the city putting in? So if we can't invest in our own future, how can we expect our partners to invest? And that's a dilemma that we have to consider. Yes.
Am I hearing correctly that the officers that are in line, we just wish that they had 20, 30 years experience. The ones that are in line, they don't have the 20, 30 years experience. So we can kind of take that out of our vote.
Right.
Of course, we have officers that have 20 years experience.
So yes, we do have folks who have that level of experience, 10, 15, 17 years to be chief, without a shadow of a doubt, right? But we're talking about on the street managing police officers. So we take a guy who has 2 years of experience, 3 years of experience, and then we have to promote him as a leader of new officers on the street because the most senior guys are in a position where they're no longer on the street. They're managing the police department from other areas. But sergeants manage officers on the street. They're out with them on the streets, and they're managing them from their police cars and from the office in there. So you want to have someone who has 4 or 5 years, 7, 8 years, 9, 10 years of experience. But with the lateral move, this person could have been a sergeant for 5 years, right? That's 5 years worth of leadership experience that we can transfer over into our department just by allowing this piece of legislation to pass. That means he could bring his 5 years of experience from whatever community, and bam, now we have a guy we can make as a sergeant who's now managing officers on the street, versus taking a guy, because we're bringing in younger officers, newer officers, a guy who has 3 years as a police officer, period. Not as a sergeant, but just been in the police force, period, for three years. If you're coming from Cleveland, you're a sergeant in Cleveland, you've probably been a patrolman for 6 or 7 or 8 years. Then he became a sergeant and has 4 or 5 years worth of experience. Now that's 12, 13 years worth of experience that we're bringing and putting on the streets in East Cleveland, versus someone that we're raising out of our department, and he has 3 years of experience as a policeman. One of those years is spent inside the building learning how to be a police officer before we put him out on the street. So that's really like 2 years of policing, and now he's a sergeant, versus our lateral transfer of someone who has been a patrolman for several years, 4 to 5 years, and been a sergeant for 4 to 5 years. Now you got a person, 10 years of experience, brand new in our department, bringing 10 years from another community. That's what that lateral does for us. And I couldn't imagine, us making a decision thinking that that's not a good idea to bring experienced officers. That doesn't prevent any of these other officers from advancing, but they get to advance at the right time, not because we don't have sergeants and we have to take a guy with 3 years and make him a sergeant. It's they get a chance to become patrolmen, good patrolmen, learn that job, and then when the opportunity arises, we can properly promote him when he's ready. We're promoting now because we don't have that middle officer who has 7, 8, 9, 10 years of experience because of our turnover rate, which goes back to what Councilor Gowdy was saying, is our starting rate impacts that, which then goes back to rebuilding the community, bringing the tax base so that we can use those revenues to raise the salaries. Okay.
So I'm sorry I missed the meeting before this. The chiefs are asking. The brass in police and fire are asking. Let me say this. Let me say this.
We'll bring them next time. Don't get upset. Don't get upset.
Sometimes, somebody, when you talking to your boss, that might make a difference. I remember when you all brought this 2 weeks ago. I've done let's just say I've done my due diligence. Let's just say that I know for a fact that all of them are not happy that this came up. So I would love to see the chief. Absolutely. I would love to have the chief. Anybody who you all think that we hear from in the open meeting on the record, not a problem.
Bring them. Calm down.
I heard you. This is not. my two other colleagues want to table it, get more information, that's fine, no problem. We look forward to it. Thank you for the opportunity to hear. You wanna go to our break,
The corona around here. Give God the glory, everybody. Be the Said. Considering what they was, we were talking about concerning the police officers. I was thought about maybe having a certain kind of project or someone could be the spearhead a project, getting to the youth, maybe, maybe talking to the, superintendent about encouraging some youth instead of, one day there's gonna be a certain percentage of them that would be end up criminals by the time they get out of high school or maybe when they get adults. But instead of them becoming these potential criminals, that they be encouraged to seek, law enforcement. And it's gonna take some training and some some mentors to help them. And then, of course, a lot of police officers have been in the military. I know the military, they only allows so many blacks in there too. So it's still some racism among this, security thing when it comes to securing the local, national community. So it'll be good for the youth to get involved in trying to, seek that as a potential career. Get some of the youth involved and seeing if that would be a potential option for them as a career to become police officers in the future. But they have to, they start when they, kind of younger, so they won't be criminals. And I do know that I've had some experience with the police. I'm a little kind of upset at the same time I'm talking about police. I had some good and bad experiences with police, and I know there's some, some corruption. Some of them have stole some of my ID and credit card, and damaged and destroyed my phone. And sometimes they don't sign reports. Sometimes they don't, even some of the higher ups don't sign reports. And then they manipulate the complaints. You want to complain, they have a form, but they'll tell you to, they'll make it where you won't send it to the correct department. So I kind of see all through that. But anyway, I don't want to talk too negative, in this situation where I'm in now. I want to talk about something positive. So, and the good thing is that we do need to get a little more detail about any multi-million-dollar projects. And yes, NOAA is doing some things to inform the community about some of these projects, but I think there should be some maybe letters sent to the residents about some of these projects that are happening in the community. That would be good information. I have okay. Well, I'm inviting everybody to come to my house at 1617 Allegheny Circle. There will be a pastor wanted to pray over my house, and it's going to be June 30th, Thursday at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. 1617 Allegheny Circle. That's the only thing I have left. Yeah, I can give you that one. Okay. And then I want to inform people about the No Crime Week, July 9th through July 16th. I'm the founder and co-founder of Black Love Unity Faith Mission Empowerment Week. It's 6th annual. And it's from July 9th to July 16th. And I will have to give you my number, 424-241-2401, to get in touch with me to get
a calendar for that week. It's a week based on the movement, the Black Love Revolution movement, which is movement to establish more trust, love, unity, prosperity, greater health, and leadership in the Black and international community, promoting self-defense and reestablishment of culture. At the last day, we're gonna have a world vigil, and also a ancestral legacy day for and honoring Ida B. Wells. If you know about Ida B. Wells, she was the one who spearheaded, squashed down lynching, made it where lynching is not as open as it had been over the years. I mean, prior to that in the 60s, she helped with that. And I need my number 424-241-2401. You can text me. It'd be hard to call me because my phone has been hacked, unfortunately. And that is my business phone number, 424-241-2401. 424-241-2401. Yes, and you could text me. You can leave a message on that number, and it'll be a while before I get back to you because my some reason it's been hacked all the time. So yes, so I will send anybody. Okay, sorry, but contact me a calendar for the Black Love Unity Faith Mission Empowerment Week. Anybody want to speak on the day? You're welcome, or entertain, you're welcome.
Thank you real quick. Yeah, I want to say that Saturday I had a chance to attend the street sign for Honeybell Bay and Dr. Ian Parker. And it was fantastic. The city stepped up, saw them with the, I said, Juanita Galley and just answer this great job. And Dr. Logan with it. Give them a round of applause. I want to say to and our last time was having them come through July 5th. All the questions we answered, especially Lord, it was out of the radio, and then Gus Franco and Jim Roberts. We're talking, here. I want to hear. Here. Thank you, man.
Like my colleague, Thank our great clerk, like I said, being since 7 this morning, thank the administration, thank Black on Black crime. Most importantly, I want to thank my neighbors, the great residents of East Cleveland. I feel we got a lot of great dialogue went on today. And as usual, it's always, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. There's always a resident that come up here like they so angry and leave before they get the response. I'm telling everyone now, like I tell you in person, if you was one of the ones that took money, put the camera at. One of the ones that took money to try to sell us off, be careful when you come in here trying to check us. Right? But I'm not having. You know what I'm talking about? That took money to give. Everybody know what I'm talking about. If you got paid, you don't try to sell us off.
All right.